The rain hammered against the windows of our Seattle home, mirroring the storm raging inside me. I am Quentin, 44, and work as an architect. I always considered myself a rational man, a planner, someone who could see the angles and construct a solid foundation for the future. My marriage to Giselle was, in my mind, one of my best designs. We'd been together for 15 years, and while the initial spark had mellowed into a comfortable warmth, I believed we were happy. Or at least I thought we were. It started subtly. Giselle, a vibrant and outgoing woman who worked as a marketing executive, began spending more time at the office. Late nights, early mornings, the usual excuses for a demanding career. I didn't suspect anything at first. I trusted her implicitly. We had built a life together, a home filled with laughter, shared dreams, and the comforting rhythm of daily routines. But then the little things started to add up. She became distant, less affectionate. Our conversations, once filled with easy banter and shared confidences, dwindled into perfunctory exchanges. She'd flinch when I touched her, and her eyes, once so full of warmth, now held a guarded, almost wary look. I tried to talk to her to ask if something was wrong, but she'd brush me off, claiming she was stressed about work or simply tired. I wanted to believe her desperately, but a knot of unease was tightening in my stomach. One evening, while Giselle was supposedly at a conference in Portland, I decided to surprise her by cleaning out her car. It was a mess. As usual, she was always rushing around. As I rummaged through the glove compartment, I found a small, velvet box. My heart skipped a beat. Could it be an anniversary gift, a romantic surprise? I opened it with trembling hands. Inside wasn't a ring or a necklace, but a hotel key card. The Cascade Inn, room 312, was printed on the front. Portland, my blood ran cold. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. My mind raced, trying to make sense of it. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe Shed picked up the wrong key card. But deep down, I knew. That cold, hard certainty settled over me like a shroud. I couldn't breathe. I had to know the truth. I spent the next few days in a daze, barely functioning. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Every time I looked at Giselle, I felt a wave of nausea wash over me. She acted completely normal, chatting about her successful conference, asking about my day. The audacity of it was astounding. I wanted to scream, to confront her, but I needed proof. Concrete, undeniable proof. I called the Cascade Inn, pretending to be a guest who had lost their key card. I asked if they could check who was registered in room 312. After a brief hold, the receptionist confirmed the name: Giselle and Mr. Alastair Finch. Alastair Finch. A name I didn't recognize. A name that would forever be etched in my memory as the man who had stolen my wife. The rage that coursed through me was unlike anything I had ever experienced. It was a primal, animalistic fury that threatened to consume me whole. I wanted to lash out, to destroy everything in my path, but I knew that wouldn't solve anything. I needed to be smart, to be strategic. I needed to expose Giselle and Alastair for what they were. I decided to hire a private investigator. I know it sounds click, but I didn't know what else to do. I needed to confirm my suspicions, to gather evidence that would stand up in court. I found a reputable agency online and arranged a meeting with a detective named Ingrid. Ingrid was a no-nonsense woman with a sharp mind and an even sharper wit. She listened patiently as I recounted my story, her expression unwavering. She assured me that she would get to the bottom of it, and within a week, she had compiled a comprehensive report. Photos, videos, documented meetings, the whole sordid affair laid bare in black and white. Giselle and Alastair were having a full-blown relationship. Romantic dinners, weekend getaways, clandestine meetings in parking garages. They were living a double life, right under my nose. The report also revealed that Alastair was a senior partner at Giselle's firm. He was married too, with 2 children. The hypocrisy of it all was staggering. They were both betraying their spouses, their families, their vows. I felt a deep sense of betrayal, not just by Giselle, but by Alastair too. He was a colleague, someone I had met at company events, someone I had even shared a drink with. He had looked me in the eye, shaken my hand, all while sleeping with my wife. I knew I couldn't stay in that house any longer, not with Giselle. The thought of sharing a bed with her, of touching her, made my skin crawl. I packed a bag and moved into a small apartment downtown. It was sparsely furnished and impersonal, but it was a sanctuary, a place where I could try to make sense of what had happened. I spent hours staring out the window, watching the city lights twinkle in the distance. I felt lost, adrift like a ship without a rudder. The confrontation with Giselle was inevitable. I arranged to meet her at a neutral location, a coffee shop we used to frequent. She arrived looking contrite, her eyes red-rimmed. I could see the guilt etched on her face, but it didn't move me. I had hardened myself against her, built a wall around my heart. "Quentin, I am so sorry," she began, her voice trembling. "I know I've hurt you and I don't expect you to forgive me." I said nothing, simply handed her the investigator's report. She took it, her eyes widening as she flipped through the pages. The color drained from her face. How did you find out?" she stammered. "It doesn't matter," I said, my voice flat. "What matters is that it's over. I want a divorce." She started to cry, begging me to reconsider, promising to end the affair, claiming it was a mistake. "I still love you, Quentin," she sobbed. "Please give me another chance," but I was done. I had no more tears to shed, no more forgiveness to give. "You had your chance, Giselle," I said, standing up. "You threw it away." I walked away, leaving her sitting there alone and weeping. It wasn't a triumphant moment. There was no satisfaction in seeing her pain, only a deep, hollow ache in my chest. The divorce was messy, as expected. Giselle fought me every step of the way, trying to minimize her culpability to salvage what she could. But I had the evidence, the truth on my side. In the end, she was forced to concede. I got the house, the car, and a significant portion of our assets. It wasn't about the money, though. It was about justice, about holding her accountable for her actions. But the emotional scars ran deep. I struggled with trust issues, with feelings of inadequacy. I questioned everything I thought I knew about myself, about relationships, about life. I started seeing a therapist who helped me process my emotions, to understand that Giselle's betrayal was not a reflection of my worth. One evening, a few months after the divorce was finalized, I received a phone call from an unknown number. I hesitated before answering, my heart pounding in my chest. "Hello," I said cautiously. "Quentin, it's Eleanor, Alistair's wife," a woman's voice said on the other end. "I know this is awkward, but I need to talk to you." I was stunned. "About what?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "About Alistair and Giselle," she said. "I know everything. We met the next day at a small park near my apartment." Eleanor was a petite woman with tired eyes and a weary smile. She looked older than her age, the weight of her husband's betrayal etched on her face. She told me that she had suspected Alistair was having an affair for months, but she didn't have any proof. Until now. "After you divorced Giselle, Alistair became increasingly distant," Eleanor said. "He was always on his phone, whispering in the other room. I knew something was wrong. So I started digging. She had found emails, text messages, even hotel receipts. The same evidence that Ingrid had uncovered for me. Alistair had been careless, arrogant, believing he could get away with it. Eleanor had confronted him, and he had denied it at first, but eventually he broke down and confessed. "I filed for divorce," Eleanor said, her voice trembling. "I'm taking him for everything he's worth. He's ruined our lives, our family. I won't let him get away with it." I felt a strange sense of camaraderie with Eleanor, a shared understanding of the pain and humiliation that Alistair and Giselle had inflicted upon us. We talked for hours, sharing our stories, our fears, our hopes for the future. We found solace in each other's company, a sense of validation that we weren't alone in our suffering. Eleanor's divorce was even more acrimonious than mine. Alistair fought her tooth and nail, trying to protect his assets, his reputation. But Eleanor was relentless. She exposed his affair to his colleagues, his friends, his family. She made sure that everyone knew what kind of man he was. In the end, he lost everything: his wife, his children, his job, his reputation. He was a pariah, ostracized by everyone he knew. Giselle didn't fare much better. After the divorce, she was ostracized by her friends and family. Her career suffered too. She was passed over for promotions, and her reputation as a homewrecker followed her wherever she went. She tried to reach out to me, to apologize, to explain, but I refused to speak to her. I had moved on, and I didn't want her in my life anymore. I started dating again, cautiously, tentatively. It was difficult to trust women, to open myself up to the possibility of being hurt again. But I was determined not to let Giselle's betrayal define me. I went on a few dates, some good, some bad, but nothing serious. Until I met Seraphina, Seraphina was different. She was kind, compassionate, and incredibly understanding. She listened to my story without judgment, offering support and encouragement. She didn't try to fix me or change me. She simply accepted me for who I was, flaws and all. We started slowly, building a friendship first, before venturing into a romantic relationship. I was scared, but I knew I had to take a chance. Seraphina was worth it. One sunny afternoon, Seraphina and I were walking along the beach, hand in hand. The waves crashed against the shore and the seagulls screeched overhead. I felt a sense of peace and contentment that I hadn't felt in years. You know, Seraphina said, stopping to look at me. I think you're ready to let go of the past. You've healed, Quentin. You deserve to be happy. I smiled, pulling her closer. I'm happy, Seraphina, I said. I'm happy because I have you. We kissed, the taste of salt and sunshine on our lips. In that moment, I knew that I had truly moved on. Giselle's betrayal was a chapter in my life, a painful one, but it was over. I had learned from it, grown from it, and emerged stronger and more resilient. I was ready to embrace the future with Seraphina by my side. A few years later, Seraphina and I got married. It was a small, intimate ceremony surrounded by our closest friends and family. As I stood at the altar watching Seraphina walk towards me, I couldn't help but think of Giselle. I wondered if she was happy, if she had found peace. I didn't hate her anymore. I pitied her. She had made a terrible mistake and she was paying the price for it. I made a promise to myself and to Seraphina that I would never let the pain of the past cloud my future. I would cherish Seraphina, love her unconditionally, and never take her for granted. I had learned the hard way that trust is a precious gift, and it should never be broken. I finally understood that betrayal reveals character, it doesn't create it. Life isn't always easy. Some scars never fully heal, but it's possible to find happiness again, even after the most devastating betrayals. It taught me the importance of resilience, of forgiveness, and of never giving up on love. And as I looked into Seraphina's eyes, I knew that I had finally found my happily ever after. The rain has stopped now and the sun is peeking through the clouds. A rainbow arches across the sky, a symbol of hope and renewal. I take a deep breath, filling my lungs with the fresh, clean air. I am Quentin and I am a survivor. I am an architect of my own destiny, and I am building a new foundation, stronger and more resilient than ever before.